Okay, so what we have here on the left is my factory 8.1 liter radiator. This isn't a reman, this isn't a parts store one, this is what rolled out in it in 2001. Big old thick sucker. It's seen better days. I developed a leak, as you can see right there, at the oil cooler adapter, and decided this was a good time to go to the E-fan setup. But I didn't want to just kind of cut my fan shroud and kind of make it work. I wanted to do a factory setup as possible. And after a lot of reading, it seems like the new technology in this radiator would be sufficient enough cooling. So you can see how thin it is. It's really thin compared to this behemoth here. But apparently Chevy engineers figured out how to make this cool more efficiently. How? There's some reading you can do on it. So I'm going to show you the differences here in the two different radiators and what problems we run into and why the solutions that we found. So the first one is these oil cooler adapters. So I got these out right now, but they're pretty large lines. And the factory 6.0 ones are smaller. And you can't just swap them over. So what I decided to do is I deleted the oil cooler. And I have a video for that as well. Next thing is on the 6.0 radiators, they actually deleted the petcock. Apparently that was a point of failure, so they just got rid of them. They just added material there and called it a day. Going on, well, it's dark on this side still. So on the passenger side of the radiator, right here is where the heater core line goes to. It was really tight, so I just broke it off because I wasn't going to use it anymore. And that's not a big deal. But on this radiator, what goes right there, this is actually a smaller hose that goes to a throttle body heater on the 6 liters. I'm not going to be using it because I don't have a throttle body heater on my 8.1. So all I'm going to do is going to cap it with a rubber cap and a hose clamp and call it a day on there. The other issue that you're going to run into are diameters of the hoses here, and here. I mean, you should be able to see that these are much larger. So I believe this is 1 3/4, or that's 1.5 inches. And the top one over there is 1.5 inches, and this is 1 1/4. I solved that by just getting some Gates heater or coolant hose reducers. I will list the part numbers on them, or when they show up the other day, I'll make a video and I'll actually show you in my hand what they're going to do. But all they're going to do is going to make size differences on the bottom. So for the lower radiator hose, I'm just going to use my factory lower radiator hose. Now it's a single hose coming off the water pump that goes to here, and then it has a factory T that goes up to the coolant recovery tank. Now because the new radiator doesn't have a provision for this heater hose line, which I believe it was a 5/8 or a 3/4, I believe 5/8. Since the new radiator doesn't have a provision for that, all we're going to do is we're going to tee off the 1-inch line that goes on the coolant recovery tank, and that's going to be our heater core return line. So the factory lower radiator hose, no problem. The upper we're still working on, and as soon as we figure out an OEM molded hose that makes it work, we'll make a video for that as well. But I believe that covers the differences in the radiators. Oh, also, I mean, you could tell that the 8.1 was obviously taller than the 6.0. And in another video, I have the spacer that you need, which is the factory radiator spacer, to make up that difference. You don't have to do any crazy modifications or anything. It's pretty straightforward. And then you bolt it in and away you go.